Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining us in part 2 of our marriage course. My name is Ed, and this is my wife Heidi, and we have been married for 36 years. In fact, tonight is our 36th wedding anniversary, the 2nd of June. So we're going to be sharing with you tonight on the subject of understanding, how we understand each other. So often we hear the statement from people when we're involved in marriage counseling. We hear the statement that says, we just don't get each other. She doesn't understand me. I don't understand him. It's just so hard to understand each other. What I want to say is this: is that understanding is not hard. The understanding of a husband and a wife. You know how so often a man says, I just cannot understand a woman, and a wife will say, I just cannot understand a man. It's not actually hard. You know what's really hard? How about you try and learn Zulu? Or if you're Zulu, how about you try and learn French? That's hard. Heidi's dad is 81 and he's staying with us at the moment, and he's learning to use a smartphone. That is hard. Perhaps a person who's unfit and they have to stop smoking and they have to lose weight and they have to get into a health program and a fitness program, that's hard. But understanding your spouse, honestly, it's really not that hard. I think understanding your spouse is an issue of priority and an issue of commitment, not really an issue of how hard it is. Let me give you an example. Our son has just qualified as an accountant, and he didn't do accountancy at school. And when he started his degree, he found accountancy really, really hard. And so he had to make it his priority to understand and pass accounting. He just didn't have the option. It wasn't an option of, well, let me do something else. You have to do accountancy. So he rearranged, in all honesty, he rearranged his life, his daily program. There were certain things he had to stop doing. He just had to make it that much of a priority, and eventually he passed. Reason being, friends, it wasn't an option, and he made it his priority, and he committed himself to do it. The challenge with marriage is that so often we're okay. We're doing all right. We're not getting divorced. We're kind of happy. We're stuck really, and so it would be nice if we understood each other. It would be nice if we got each other, but we don't need to. So it's really about making that issue a priority. Another line we hear from people often is that we're just not compatible. We just don't. We're so opposite. And as if being opposite somehow is a valid excuse, as if somehow being opposite means you don't have to get each other, which is a load of rubbish, really. So you get these different, I don't know what you call them, they're like personality profile. They feel like you're doing a test at the time. We're told they're not tests, but it feels like it. So if you're like our age, you'll remember they came out with a personality stroke profile thing. Can't even remember what it was called, but you were divided into 4 possible personalities. There was 4 categories, which I hate being categorized, period.
You were boxed.
Yeah, I thought you were being boxed. So there was the sanguine, the choleric, the melancholic, and the phlegmatic. Basically, the guy who liked to be the life and soul of the party, the guy who liked to be bossy, the guy who was just very, I was going to say depressed, but the guy who's just very
easygoing.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the other guy. The melancholic, the guy who wants to go and sit in the forest and write a song. And then there's the easygoing guy, the phlegmatic. So now Heidi is a sanguine choleric, and I'm a melancholic, according to that profile. So basically, she's happiest when she bosses me, okay? And I'm happiest when I'm not being bossed, okay? So we're really opposite. Then we did another one called the Briggs and Meyer profile stroke test thing. And they give you 4 little letters to describe you. And honestly, if Hards was an A, B, C, D, I was the W, X, Y, Z. we were properly opposite. In fact, the guy said, "You're
Poles
as
apart.
opposite as you can get on this profile." And then the other one that we did, which seems to be the most popular one, and the one that we're going to chat about in a moment or two, Hals will talk about, is the 5 love languages. And those 5 love languages, Hals will go into them now, are words of affirmation, gifts, physical touch, quality time, and acts of serving. Now, again, we were total opposite. Hals is kind of like present. And yes. I'm Hadz's gifts. I'm words of affirmation. We'll talk about that in a moment. But basically, it meant that I generally leave my clothes lying around. It doesn't help the acts of service thing, and I have to really think hard to remember to get the right present and all that sort of stuff. And then Hadz, if I'm the words of affirmation, I'll be pouring my heart out to Hadz and telling her something really deep that I imagine any woman would be just so, wow, that is so beautiful. And then in the middle of my deep pouring out my soul, she'll interrupt me to remind me that there's a picture that needs hanging. So this thing of opposites, no, that's not a good excuse. The real question is, how important, honestly, is understanding your spouse to you? And secondly, what lengths will you go to learning to understand it? So, Hart, tell us a bit about the 5 love languages.
Okay, these ways, or these 5 love languages, are the ways that you express love and the way that you receive and feel love. And not only is it important to understand your own love language, but more importantly, to understand your spouse's love language so that you can love them in the right way. And it's not good enough just to know about it. You've got to put into practice what you've learned. So the first love language, which Ed has got on the board, are words of affirmation. And I'll definitely go into that in a bit more detail because that's his love language. The next one is gifts. Now, it's not only the giving of things. So it's not just the gift, but the thought and the effort and the presentation of that gift. And all these make the person feel appreciated, noticed, and loved.
And just something, guys, when a lady tells you that it's the thought that counts, no, she's lying. It's more than the thought. It has to cost. Sorry, it has to cost.
So the unexpected gifts are also a wonderful way of showing a person whose love language is gifts that you love them. But the worst thing he can do, and take notice of this, is when you miss giving a gift on a special occasion, like a birthday, or an anniversary, or Father's Day, or Mother's Day. Those are the days you need to give your gifts. So the next one, the third one, is physical touch. You feel more connected and safe with touch. This person feels more connected and safe with touch. And they thrive on caresses, on holding hands, on kissing and hugging, and obviously being intimate. And they want to feel close to you, not only emotionally, but physically. Physical is so important. And probably the worst thing you can do for this person is to buff their advances, or to be cold or distant, or withhold touch. So that's physical touch. The fourth one is quality time. Here, time is of essence. That person needs to be the center of your attention, to have an uninterrupted, undivided time. One-on-one is so important. And so giving them a dedicated time, is of priority. I think the worst thing you can do to this person is keep cancelling or postponing times with them, your dates with them, or set aside times with them. And then when you're giving them that time, the worst thing you can do is to be distracted, or to be focused on something else, or even to be having constant interruptions. That is so harmful to that relationship.
So the cell phone goes
off.
Cell
phones off.
Okay.
Children out. Lots of things. The last one is acts of service. Now here, actions speak louder than words. And love is expressed by that person doing things. Being helpful, easing the load of responsibility. When your actions show that you are doing stuff because of a sense of duty or obligation, that is the worst thing to do, because then that first person will feel unloved. So when you do something, you do it in a loving, gentle, caring, cherishing manner. So those are the 5 love languages.
Okay, so one thing that's really important is it's more important to understand how a person is than why a person is. Okay, so
sometimes you will never understand.
Yeah.
I
will never understand why Heidi interrupts me.
Like now.
Like right then, you see.
And I can never understand his feelings and his emotions because I don't feel like that. I don't react like that. So if we both have to wait until we understand each other to be able to love each other, that will never happen.
So in other words, the understanding that we're talking about is not an understanding that makes sense. It's an appreciation of who you are. Now it helps if you can make sense, but you can't always make sense. In our relationship, it's far harder for Heidi to make sense of my soul than it is for me to make sense of her soul. But we don't have to make sense of it. We just have to understand. It's like an accepting understanding. So this is the way that my spouse is made.
It's a priority.
And I prioritize getting to know that. So when we first did this love language thing a couple of years ago, let me tell you how I rated Heidi. So by the way, there's a 6th one and it's called food. Okay. But I rated Heidi was probably acts of service. Is that the one? Okay. Well, I put somewhere between acts of service and gifts. And I wish I'd read this book years ago because it really helped me to understand that's what speaks love to Heidi. Now, she is definitely physical touch and she's definitely quality of time and she's definitely words of affirmation. But these two are the top 2. And what I discovered with gifts,
as I said, it's the thought, the whole protocol of presenting it, the time.
See, I once gave her a present that wasn't worth very much, and I thought that, not because I just didn't have very much money, so I had always believed the lie that a woman says when she says it's the thought that counts. So I gave her, I thought it was a great present. I gave her a do-it-yourself jersey that she had to knit together. And herself.
I don't knit.
I thought she could enjoy the process of learning to knit because I thought that all women could knit. And anyway, then I discovered it's not the thought that counts. Then the next year I gave her something really important, but I just kind of like gave it to her, hadn't wrapped it. Then I realized it's not just the thought, but it's how much. And then it's not just how much, but it's how you present it. This is a big deal, this, guys. And so I needed to get some good understanding of this. Okay. What did you...
Okay, as I said earlier on, words of affirmation are Ed's love language. And it's the words that are important, but at the same time, it's the tone, that's very important, and the manner in which you speak. That's important as well. And I know that...
And also words sound a whole lot better when you say them with brushed teeth.
No, Ed.
It's one big thing. This communication is one big thing. It has to sound right, smell right, look right, all that stuff. See, okay.
So the words that this person needs to encourage them, needs to build them up. In fact, we are to be their greatest cheerleaders. Got to tell them why they can do everything, how wonderful they're doing it, how it's going to be the best thing ever, even if it's not completely true. They need to feel like they are doing so well. And so it's about verbally encouraging them. And we need to express in our words care and affection and appreciation. The worst thing, absolutely worst, is to criticize them or to pass negative comments about anything.
Okay. Another thing about words of affirmation is speaking really about the area of communication. And communication includes listening as much as it does speaking. So a person whose love language is words of affirmation, it's not just about the words that are spoken to them, but it's how you listen to the words that they speak. That is really, really important. We have 30 seconds left, Mrs.
How
Frank.
you appreciate them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, let me say in ending, learning people's love languages is really, really important. And the benefit you get from making it a priority is so big. At the same time, the negative of that is the degree to which you don't speak their love languages. It's not just if you learn their love languages, it's really, really good. If you don't learn their love languages, it doesn't matter. The fact is, if you don't learn and understand them, it has a negative effect on your marriage. So make understanding, and through understanding, accepting your spouse an absolute priority and an absolute commitment. It's not that tough. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I just hope that you learn to understand, appreciate the uniqueness of the individuals that you are to each other.
And put into practice what you've learned.
Yeah. Thank you.